Hi guys, this is today's quick tip of the day, and I just wanted to guide you through how to create such an image. There's a lot that goes into photographing and creating this image. It isn't necessarily a one-shot principle. It can be done with a single shot, but it requires a lot more lighting. It requires a lot more work. As you can see, this is an incomplete image. There's a lot of grass that needs to be brought back in. But let me guide you through what principles I adhere to when trying to get these shots. So you'll see here that this is a fairly early morning shot, and this was photographed at 6:31 a.m. and it's a couple of years old, but the principle still remains, and it took me a couple of minutes to get the right angle that I wanted. What I do next with such a shot is I'll take a number of exposures so that I have whatever I need from each shot. You can see that I've got my shadows here, highlights, midtones covered, and I'll repeat that a couple of times with different settings. So I'll probably change the f-stop, or I'll change the shutter speed, and I'll make sure that I have at my lowest ISO. Once I've got whatever images I want, or whatever information I need from the images, I'll then bring it into the computer and start working on everything I need. So here's the baseline of what I'd started with, and what I did then was I got a second image, which was for the midtones, and you can see that I've masked a couple of things in and out. I'm going to disable that one and go to this, because I think I preferred the shadows and the highlights from the second shot. If I were to disable the mask, you'd be able to see exactly what I've pulled in from here. The mountain especially is part of this image, and everything in the foreground has been exposed well enough in the first one, so my mask then covers in for that, and I'll pull in whatever details I want from that. Next, I added a bit of warmth to the front of the image. Now, the sun's coming from behind, so it isn't necessarily accurate to add this here, but I did add it anyways. I'll bring in a bit more so that it looks like the sun's actually peering in from here. Again, this is more compositing than it is actual photography. However, this is what entails, or this is what goes into creating these brochure images. And the next step was adding a vibrance adjustment so we can see the colors pop immediately. I changed the white balance slightly to make it a little warmer. I did play around with the level so that we can bring in more information and make it feel more warm, more welcoming, more enjoyable to look at, or I'd say appealing. I merged these images together so that we could then start working on the merged images. That's just the way I work. And I then started manipulating the lines so that everything was straightened out. Added a curves adjustment to bring in a bit more balance, I would say, and finally just did a bit of cleanup where it was required. So it's fairly simple, it's not overly complicated. Had I got the right lenses or the right kit for this, I wouldn't have to readjust the lines, but having to do that in post isn't necessarily a bad thing. So that's that for our 2-minute training for today.